So this is attempt number 2 of me trying to do a video this morning. Internet wasn't working, so I have like a 4-minute live video. So I'm just gonna restart, and that way you can get the whole thing without having to worry about watching half and then another half. So, focus today is it doesn't have to be so hard. That if your child is working too hard to learn or trying too hard to focus or manage their behavior, it could very well be because things are not being, you're taking the wrong approach without even realizing it. And I've done the same thing with my child and with clients and students and so forth. And we also have this really strong core belief that it is really hard, that it takes years for this to come together. That, one mom told me the other day, that the teacher had told her child, it's probably always going to be really hard for you, have a learning disability. And that is true if all we do is manage it. Most likely that is true if all we do is manage it. Ask yourself, do you or does your child have this core belief that it's really hard and, this is going to be a real battle for the rest of their life and it's always going to be slower for them? And where did that core belief come from? And, why do we think that there's that limitation that's there permanently? And so I'm going to talk in a little bit about what the real problem can be, but I definitely will be talking further about this in my live training that's coming up this Thursday, where I'm going to talk about root causes and so forth. Because once you address the root cause of why your child is struggling with learning, reading, behavior, and so forth, why there is imbalance or disorganization in the brain, why their brain is processing slower, then it becomes, they can actually overcome these challenges and not have to work so hard and not have to just manage them. So the number one reason that I see why people or children continue to struggle and everything is so darn hard is we are, have them in tutoring, remedial reading, we're doing all these strategies. Maybe with ADHD, we're using certain parenting strategies or IEP strategies, but we are reinforcing the wrong connections. And I see this all the time, particularly with reading, where we just think they need extra practice, and all we're doing is reinforcing that bad connection over and over and over again, and we're making that bad connection stronger, which is absolutely what we don't want, instead of making new connections and retraining the brain, which is the whole problem. I talked yesterday in a post about how one of the problems is that we just if the problem is reading, then we assume we need them to read more, right? And I talked about how whenever I was younger, I had a pretty serious acne, and it was always, okay, the problem is on the skin, so let's just put lots of creams and ointments and cleansers and maybe take medication. The problem is the skin, when actually the problem is in the gut. So we need to look at not where the problem is happening, but what is causing the problem. Where's the origin of the problem? The second reason I see kids struggling so much is because of self-esteem. So what happens is their self-esteem goes down as they see they're making so little improvement. Their motivation goes down. Our brain does not retain stuff well when our motivation is low, when our interest is low, when we're feeling poorly about ourselves. And so, then things do take a lot longer and, become even a grueling task. The other thing is that I see parents with kids who have maybe ADHD, autism spectrum. I was guilty of this as well. Going, okay, I hear food makes a big difference. We're going to take out this, and this. They haven't focused on nourishment. They haven't focused on what they can add back in. That is where I recommend starting first, is on nourishment, not elimination. Because if you have a picky eater or a kid has nutrient deficits because of the way they metabolize, because of gut health, because of genetic factors, then if you start taking more stuff out, maybe if you eliminate, this particular food, it might be a cause because it's a possible food that's a sensitivity for your child, but there's also probably a lot of nutrients in there. So we want to make sure we nourish first, not just start removing stuff. And so basically what happens is, in terms of going back to the brain and weak connections, is if your child still has areas of underdevelopment, has what's called retained primitive reflexes, so basically part of their baby brain is still awake or active or hasn't integrated into the nervous system, as we say it more scientifically, then what happens is it's very hard for them to access their cortex, that is their higher brain levels, which are responsible for all those things that we consider so important. That's part of the executive functioning that we hear so much about, like organization, planning, impulse control, critical thinking, discernment, all of that type of stuff. So I'm going to be talking about those causes, about solutions that are not traditional, in terms of that goes beyond strategy, that goes beyond compensation and moves towards correction in my free live training this Thursday. Hope to see you there. Spots will fill up, so sign up. I'll post the link in the comments below. And just keep in mind, if you failed in the past trying to help your child with different strategies, it's not because your child is broken. It's not because you're a failure as a mom. It's probably because you are using compensatory strategies or even corrective strategies that are not being layered in a proven method, in a system where one comes and then the next layer happens and the next layer happens. It's probably not as strategic as you would think. So in my free live training, I will be talking about what are the Band-Aid approaches, how to move past them, what are the alternatives to that, and basically the 3 simple solutions that I use to help people overcome learning and behavior disorders. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, please share. And like I said, I'll post the sign up in the comments below.